Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing a new type of a video for my channel because my political stuff tends to catch a lot of grief. So I'm doing my political stuff over on Rumble now. So I needed new topics for my main channel, and I'm trying out historical military blunders. One, it's educational and historic. And two, I do a lot of gaming videos on my other channel, Grumpy Old Gamer. And these will help your tactics in whatever game you're playing. So a study of history is, it doesn't hurt, let me tell you. I'm doing military blunders. Again, any military campaign can suffer losses due to circumstance. Most of those cases are not the commander's fault. But for a true military blunder, the military commander has to make a basic mistake, and a big one. A big one. Here we go, ready? The Battle of the Somme, World War I. The Battle of the Somme in 1916 is widely regarded as the archetypal military disaster. Can't read my own damn writing. Field Marshal Douglas Haig planned an offensive. He wanted to push 3 British armies and 1 French army to advance along a 31-mile front. On June 24th, a 6-day barrage began that fired 1.7 million shells into the German positions, which were the target of the offensive. They had a number of objectives they wanted to do, and the first one was these positions. About a third of these shells failed to explode, which meant that the German barbed wire defenses were mostly intact. German casualties were significantly reduced because the Germans were very, very skillful at digging underground bunkers. They were really, really good at it. The foot offensive was scheduled for the 29th of June, but was delayed until July 1st due to torrential downpours. It turned the terrain into sucking mud. When the British soldiers went over the top, meaning they climbed out of their trenches and went to attack, German machine guns, small arms, and artillery fire massacred them. On the first day alone, more than 20,000 soldiers were killed and over 36,000 were wounded. Entire battalions were slashed down to a few hundred men. It was just, This slaughter continued as the offensive continued. It went on until November. Casualties after that first day dropped to an average of about 3,000 per day. The offensive had daily objectives, and some units took until November to secure the day 1 objectives. Now, Allied commanders clearly underestimated the capabilities of the German machine guns paired with ordinary barbed wire. Groups of soldiers are stuck in one spot while they cut through the wires, and the German machine guns just simply mow them down. You got a group of guys running up to the bad guys. They hit this barbed wire. They have to stop and cut their way through. The guys are there. The machine gunners just mow them down. I know it sounds stupid, but that's the reality of it. Add in the German small arms and artillery, and it's a recipe for wholesale slaughter. Now, my question is, at what point as a military commander do you look at the mass casualties versus the minimal gains that are being achieved and say, gee, this doesn't seem to be working, maybe we should call this thing off, hold what we got if we can, if not, pull back, regroup, find a different way. Here's the thing. The artillery was not as effective because they had a lot of bad shells. That's logistics. That's not the commander's fault. Nobody can control the weather, at least not that I'm aware of. At least not. And back in World War I, modern, they didn't have modern meteorology, so you couldn't even accurately predict a lot of the weather. June and July are rainy months to begin with, so it was a bad time to plan such an offensive. But it beats the heat of August. I'm just saying. So none of that you can really And a winter offensive is just stupid, especially back then, because they didn't have cars, they didn't have tanks or transports or anything like that. It was all foot and cavalry. So winter offensives were rare and dangerous. So none of that is the commander's fault. But the foot offensive lasted from the 1st of July through November. That's over 4 months of this. He had all the guy doing this, whoever was in charge, had all that time to say, holy crap, no, stop, screw that, stop this. And he didn't. He just kept it going like a fucking meat grinder. Imagine being the small unit commander on the front, sending back word saying, hey, we're getting killed up here, what do you want us to do? And the reply keeps coming back, keep trying, move forward. There's a guy over there with a machine gun and open ground. What move forward is there? Okay, guys, march to your doom. At some point, military commanders need to listen to their subordinates. I have to imagine at some point one of his subordinates said, sir, maybe we should pull back. This isn't working. You know? That commander was not in it alone, but he was ultimately responsible. What was his name? Haig. Field Marshal Douglas Haig was the guy who did this, apparently. And I would imagine in military circles that dude is infamous. I'm just saying. You folks have, and by the way, if you're too shallow to admit when you've made a mistake and to try to fix it to save your men, you don't need to be in a command position. That's all I'm saying. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.